good afternoon. Welcome to the art series, the Art Talk series, an initiative by Sneha Arts, one of the leading art galleries in South India. And Dr. Snehalata Prasad is the director and the art collector. And every year, Sneha Arts conducts a lot of art events, and something which will really help the artists out there. And credit goes to her for this particular series of Art Talk. And today we have an eminent artist, Yolanda, who is joining us from Goa. She's been in Goa, and Goa was earlier Portuguese in the Portuguese Territory until 1961. And Yolanda is pretty famous for her art, and the specialty in her art is the art she makes looks like ceramic. So until unless you touch and feel, you will not really make out. A lot of people feel that this is a ceramic art, and that's become her signature style. And she's done her B.F.A from University of Bombay. And let's check out with her how she started the passion with art, why this particular category of ceramic like art, which has got very high gloss, and which has become her trademark, and who has helped her in the entire journey of art. So thanks a lot, Yolanda, for joining us. And it's an honor having you on this particular show, because we have a lot of artists who are in a similar domain. Artists are watching out for this particular platform, because we are showcasing artists of different domain. Everybody has got a signature style. You've got a signature style. So over to you. We would request you to share your journey.
Thanks for having me on this show by Snelata. I know Sneha for some time now. In fact, she comes out as somebody who's very doing, although she's an artist herself, it's amazing that she does things for others. I've seen her having an art camp here in Goa with around, I think, 25, 30 artists, and she's very calm and cool about going, going on this line without letting her art take a backseat. Because I've been seeing her sculptures, which are amazing. So thanks to Snelata's, endeavors to getting art popular, and artists, like me, for that matter, to come out and speak out. So thanks again. Pleasure to be here with you guys.
Cool, man. So when did you start? I mean, when did you decide that you would get into art?
Yeah, I think, these things happen right from the start. I mean, when you're in school, you like to draw and whatever. My mom used to be very good in art, and obviously she used to always kind of be, painting at home. I mean, she was a amateur painter, of course, but she was painting these glass paintings, and they were amazing, actually. And, in those days, you would just give them away as presents. But anyways, I had that obviously in me. And so in school, you become the artist of the school, Every time there's something that, okay, Yolanda will help out in that. But I always had it in my mind. I wanted to get into art from then, Because I remember in school, we had a new principal, and headmistress rather, and the rest of the teachers were very, very jealous of her, and they were upset that somebody from out had been brought in. So I remember that I did a little April Fool kind of joke on the staff, painting every teacher, with humor in it. And then I was very scared, because I made sure, in those days you read all those mystery books, school books. And so I saw that I didn't write anything in my hand. So I very nicely cut the words from newspapers and put them up there. And I was sitting outside during the rehearsal, in the recess, and then I saw the postman coming, and one of the teachers, taking and say, the staff got a letter. And then everybody was laughing in the staff room, but I had hit hard on most of them, except one or two who were really nice people. So then I remember this teacher comes to the class. I used to hate geography, the subject. So this teacher, who was she was one of the oldest ones in those days in the school. She probably had taught my uncles and aunts, and then probably I was the last one to be under her. Anyway, she says, you know what? If this person who has done this work had used her brains for geography, it would have been better. So she knew exactly who it was, but I kept quiet about it. So yeah, this thing of getting into art was always in me. I wanted to get into art after SSC. So I took art in SSC actually, although I didn't have an art teacher. The thing is that, my teachers told me, why are you going into that? You don't even know what you're getting into, and you don't have an art teacher. So I said, no, it's a requirement if I want to join art college. So I'm going to kind of, take it on me, and come what may, I will go and try my best. Yeah, so I took art and I got through it, and I got a first class, although I only painted some nonsense. And I didn't know, because there was some theory part also, which I was not aware of. So I just went and did what I had to do. I had to paint, I painted, or drew. It was, in those days, a memory drawing was something you had to have. So yeah, so this is, the way that my connect with art. But where I'm concerned, it was a little bit more complicated in the sense that I was an excellent sports person. So in my school, for the state, I represented the state in hockey, in badminton, in athletics, and then football came in, and that became kind of the sports for me. Since it was something that the state was backing very, very much, in those days. So that became a little bit tricky for me, because when I got into art college, my friends, my sister was in Xavier's, and in those days, Xavier's was the most, the best in sports in Goa. And I used to play hockey with them even when I was in school. Yeah, so they wanted me to get there, and they said, what are you doing in art college? It's just art, and you're there the whole day, and there are no sports. You can go back after a few years. And I thought to myself, why not? I love both the things, but sports is not going to last a lifetime, but I know that my art will. So I went to my principal, and I filled the forms for the Xavier's College. My sister made sure she brought them for me. And I went and I spoke to my principal, and I told him, sir, I have to go. I want to leave. And, it was the first batch of art college in Goa. The art college was in Goa, but under the University of Bombay. Okay. So there was a big selection. So there were about 250 people, students who had applied, and only 25 were selected. So it was kind of not so nice of me. I was supposed to say, I want to go and I'll come after 2 years, So he says, no way, you're not going to do that. And luckily for me, he was a wrestler. Mr. B.K. Patil was his name. And he used to be a wrestler in his younger days. So he probably understood me. So he says, you know what, you're not going to leave, What I'm going to do is I'm going to let you go anytime and every time you need to go, even for your practices, but you're not going to leave the art college. So I'm basically very grateful to him, because otherwise I might have been on the, not on the right path to my future, which goes on beyond the game, And the same went with Father Nicolau, who was the principal of Xavier's. He told my sister, don't tempt her and mess up with her career, So I believe in destiny somehow, I always believe that, I tried many times to get out for a while, so that my sports could be, fulfilled in the right manner. But every time, people have come and, said, no way you're going. And they have gone out of their way. Like I was working for a department, because art in those days wasn't happening. So after I finished my college, what do? You paint. And then my grandmother would come and say, she was the one actually who, got, backed me to get into the art college. But she would come to the room and I was kind of painting there, and she would come and say, baby, is somebody going to buy that work of yours? I would say red, because, they were all anxious about what is she going to do now. Like one day I really got mad and I took all my works and I started burning them. So what are you doing? I said, listen, you guys don't like to see me in art because nothing is happening. So I'm getting rid of it. And I remember my little cousin, who used to be mostly my model for portraits, came running and started collecting them. And yeah, later he joined art college too. So yeah, you had drawbacks of that type, during the time when art was not really happening here. So you had to take a job, and that's the reason why I joined the design center. And that's where this gentleman, who is a very good sculptor, a very well-known sculptor, Mr. G.S. Panwar, was from Rajasthan. He is from Rajasthan, rather. He said, again, he gave me a lease of life in my sports by saying that you can carry on and don't worry, whatever. But then in the long run, being in the design center started also making me very, suppressed in how I wanted to express myself. Forget about the sports, because in 1981, I decided to leave. And I had made a point even before that once I leave sports, I'm not going to be attached to the happenings in it at all, except visually. And it's going to be art, because I had sacrificed my art for all those years,
Sure.
And then again, I decided to leave the design center to completely take on my art. But that too has got a story. And that's why I always say, destiny takes you to certain roads. And if you are alert and follow that route, you can meet your destiny. That's my take on destiny. Because the way that I got back into art is through having an art gallery, actually. Because I always wanted to see that art happened in Goa. It was not happening. I always wanted to see that people got, more art friendly or art, to know more about art, because Goa was like away from the rest of the country where art was concerned. We were novices. Nowadays, we are more into it. We are discovering our old artists who we never thought of in those days. So what happened was that, this friend of mine came. He had a house in Kalangut. In fact, he's from Aldana, a very, very nice person, a very well-known person here. Cecil is his name. He had a house in Kalangut, which was very close to our place. And he came to me and said, you know what, I'm from Aldana and I can't get along here. I just can't. I feel like an alien in this place. So if you know somebody who would like to rent the place, I would be happy to. So I went and I saw it. And the moment I saw it, the thought of an art gallery came into my mind. And I told my husband, you know what, let's take the place and let's start an art gallery then. So that's how Art Chamber, my gallery, our gallery rather, came into being. So immediately after that, this was in 1997, I think. And in 1999, I left my job to totally get into art. So I have basically been into art 100% into my painting from 1999. So it's not many years. I think this year is my silver jubilee of being totally in art, because otherwise it was kind of, you just make a painting and give it for the stage show, which would happen once a year. So it was like that. So with the gallery, I started having shows promoting young artists or even other artists, and I would be having group shows. So I was also participating. And then, I got totally into art and I got so engrossed into it that I could not run the gallery and have my art, paint for myself. So my husband started running the gallery. Yeah, so that's how it started, and from then it took off. It took off. Yeah.
Superb journey, and very rare combination of football player and an artist who the personalities fought
Yes.
as to what should take the priority. But
Yes. Yes.
thanks for being honest, because a lot of people
Thank
don't
you.
declare that that I was struggling between both these personalities, whether I should take art
That's
as a passion or football. And I
oh,
like the way you
that's
ditched one and tried to focus on one thing at a time. When you had to decide for
that's
both, whether to go in sports or this, you said I
that's
will focus on one thing. That's really amazing.
that's
So
because you can't serve two masters at once.
true.
That for me, that's the reason why I'm not into sports or football at all now, except to see the matches and whatever, as everybody does. I love watching sports. Yeah, so that's how it was, and it is now.
So, friends who have not seen Yolanda's art, so let me play a small clipping or pictures, collection of pictures and the art she has made, so that we get the next questions. Because if I play this in the end, you might not know how she does, and maybe after seeing the paintings, if you have any questions, feel free to drop in the comments, and I will clarify those questions with Yolanda. So here are a collection of pictures that Yolanda has done. Yep. So, friends, you've got a collection. You got to see the art by Yolanda. So, Yolanda, and what I've seen is, you made art on a pattern, or does the pattern come after you do the art? So, because there is one pattern which is like a common in across all the platform. There is a pattern involved, not a single pattern, but there is a pattern of things around every art which you've done.
Um, I don't know about pattern. I follow my instinct when I paint. But yeah, there are themes that, I kind of paint. I don't know what works you have shown down there because I couldn't see them. But whatever, I will give you an insight of how it works with me. Because with me, whatever touches me, I kind of get it, reflect it on my canvas. It does not need to be something that's social or personal in that sense, but it's mostly what touches me. So it's my personal feel about what I see around me, And yeah, initially it used to be like the old times that we have lost. And I think I'm still stuck on that in the sense it's changed now. Before it was like I would like to paint, what was and how Goa was before, the people and stuff like that. But now it becomes more of the concern that I have for Goa. My works normally might sound very plain and very simple, but they go deeper than what you see. You got to really see into the work to kind of understand it, at times, because visually, if you look at it, maybe you think it's just something, just a person standing, whatever. But my thoughts go beyond that kind of a thing. So no, there is no pattern. I always paint whatever touches me. Like if I'm traveling, because I've been traveling for a while now. In fact, I for the first time I went to have a show was in Montreal in 2009, and then on I started getting invites in various art camps, various shows. I've shown in Germany, I've shown in Hungary, in many places, yeah. But it all started in 2009, and initially when I got that invite, and this I have to say, in those days the internet was not a known thing, and my husband wanted to have a website for the gallery. I think it was early 2000s, maybe even before 2000. And I said, why do you want to do that? Who's going to look at the art there? We have to promote the gallery and get people here, But anyways, it was actually the first website on art in Goa somewhere in 99, 2000. But I was there. My art was there. And I realized that I started getting invites when people saw my art on the net. So it made a big difference. So that's how I started traveling. So when you travel, basically what happens to me or to anyone, I would think, the surroundings affect you. So whenever I go elsewhere, my mind is taken off from the home I come from or the place I come from and the problems that you see around here to fresher lands where you see different kinds of things. You see, maybe they're not happy, but they seem happy to me. And then I get inspired by what I see around me there, and I paint based on what I see there. Many of my works are based on my travels. When I come back and I recall what I see, like when I was in Montreal, I walked into stores and I would see this Indian girl, as a sales girl, or an Indian man as a salesman. So these things, I would just make, portraits of them, because mostly I think I do portraits actually. They are abstract, of course, but they are based on portraits. It has been like that right from the beginning somehow, faces and people attract me, and what's behind them. So yeah, there's no pattern as such. There's no pattern. I just paint as it comes. I just paint the subject that kind of turns me on at that particular moment, and then I see it on canvas. So it's not. I don't know, but I don't think I follow a certain pattern in that sense. No, I didn't get that. Tell me again. I will tell you one thing very, very, very straight. I never paint for somebody else. I paint for myself. So if somebody tells me, you do this or paint in this way, no. Number one, I can't do it. You know, I like to paint the way I want to paint, and if somebody likes it, it's good. If somebody doesn't like it, it's good as well. So yeah, I listen to everything. It's good to have people talk and give their ideas about things, but at the end of the day, it's your mind, it's your thought, it's your judgment that makes the painting. That's how it works with me. No, I've been there are times when art didn't really work, and that was still 99. Even then was difficult. Later on it became easier. Things in art started happening in Goa, more galleries started coming and stuff like that. But before that, to make ends meet, not really, because I already had a job, but I would be making murals, but these murals were mostly in hotels. 5-star hotels would like to have murals, so I would do that because and that I didn't mind to do what the guy wanted, because he was paying me for that, and no issues. Then I would kind of show him my ideas, but also taking his ideas and make them happen together as a whole kind of a thing. So yeah, that's how it is.
Uh, I mean, did you, when was the time you found the purpose of your art? You felt that, okay, yes, I've taken the right decision and, this is the purpose of my life.
That was right from day one. The only thing is that I couldn't meet my purpose 100% because I was into something else. So that is the reason why I decided, and that is the reason why I left the department. I was in a place where I was in charge of the place, and I had 100% possibility of being the director of that unit, the design center, because I was also already kind of leading it, unofficially. And then the golden handshake, whatever you call it, was 3 months away. So everybody started telling me, why are you leaving now? Let that come. But I had completed 15 years, so I would be getting some kind of a pension. And for me, like I told you, I take a decision when I have a good feeling about it. I didn't know whether I was going to make it in art. I didn't know whether the gallery would be a success because there were no people who, went to galleries, bought art or whatever. I just knew that I wanted to paint, and it's not about being a success in terms of monetary benefits, but in terms of, self kind of getting yourself, to a place where you feel good, you feel comfortable, and you feel nice, and you feel happy. So that was the reason why I left. And there is not a single minute or second, when I regret this decision. It has been the best decision ever that I took when I left the government department and went into my art 100%. And it has not been a look back since then for me.
So Yolanda had a art, you have your own signature style. When you did your
Yeah,
art, B.F.A, so did
right.
anything change? What value addition did that particular education bring into? I mean, you
Yes, of
did
course.
mention that there were no
The art
teachers.
college was, I will tell you, when we went to art college, when I went, I mean, we were novices. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what I was expecting. Okay. So I think what really made us understand about art was were the professors, number one, who all came from JJ School of Arts. They all came, so they knew art. Many of them, most of them actually, were already renowned artists in Bombay. Like we had Mr. Harihar, then there were, of course, we had only two sessions then. It was applied art and painting. So painting, there was this Mr. Desai. We had 2 years of foundation, which was a great help. And what really helped us was aesthetics, the history of art. We had a very good teacher who would lecture us, So that too helped us get into knowing an artist's life and what an artist painted. Because normally it was, of course, here it was Western art, We hardly knew anything of Indian art, because I think the chapter was just a little chapter on Indian art, Basically, it was Western art that was being taught. So yeah, you start reading about art, you start knowing what it really is about. It happened in art college, no question about that. And for me, Picasso, I know that most everybody, he's kind of the hero or whatever, because we didn't have any local artists to look up to. I liked him for the simple reason that he's very flamboyant and his work is like you don't have second thoughts. You go on the canvas and you work. That's how I do my art too. I don't make sketches ever. It's in my mind and then I directly go to the canvas. So because I feel that if I make a sketch, my energy goes into that, and then I'm not enjoying the painting on the canvas because my enjoyment has already half gone into this. So I directly go to the canvas when I paint. Yes, the lessons I learned was from my teacher Hariyar, which I will never forget, because he always told us that the main thing is to be original, to be, creative with your originality. Don't try to ape somebody because whatever you do, there is you in it, and it is you. Nobody can claim it. So he would always say, like, even if you kind of draw a line, and which is a line that is crooked, that's ugly, whatever, it does not matter. You are the owner of that line. So this thing always stuck in my mind, and that's the reason why I always try to be different, to try and do something which is initially I was very much a follower of Picasso. But I think I'm out of it now. Maybe here and there's some, influences don't change, but not in terms of subjects or colors or whatever. I think I've come out of that and sort of am being myself. So yes, these are the things that you carry from college. And I believe it's very important to get a good background. Nowadays people have line. You go on the net and you see everything. In our days, we didn't have anything or anyone to look or learn or understand. Art was totally new. But I remember the first work that I did, it was in 1972 during the war, the Bangladesh and East and West Pakistan, when Bangladesh happened, I had made a painting on that and I called it Bangladesh actually. And it was the tragedy that took place, whatever. So this is the reason why I say things like that touch me, good, bad, ugly, whatever. If it touches me, then I'm going to go into getting it on canvas somehow, because once I do that, I feel free. I feel free from inside, especially if it's something that hurts and I put it on canvas, then I feel that my heart is now totally free and ready for whatever. Yeah, so yeah, that's how it has been. That's how it has been.
So as Yolanda, I mean, are you only limited to being an artist or a painter, or are you also artistically good with music, dance? Do you have such other skills also in you?
No, 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 no. In dancing, you can call me a zero because at home they always said, there's one thing you can't do, you can't dance. But my daughter is a very good dancer. But yeah, I like to sing. I mean, it's not like I'm a singer from that point of view because everybody in Goa, they normally everybody would either have a guitar, have a piano in the house, but the guitar was something which was very common. Every house would be having it. Everybody would be sitting and singing together. And my mom actually taught me how to use the strings to accompany my singing. So yes, I like to sing. I like to, play the guitar when I'm free. It gives me a lot of pleasure to do that. So yeah, but not in the professional sort of a way. It's just for me. And sometimes with friends, when we travel and whatever, it's a good way to, just pass your time, your free time, and stay happy. Yeah,
Uh,
so
the next
that's as
question.
much as I can. Yeah,
Uh, there are a lot of artists there who do not have a college background. Okay, they've not done their fine arts
that's right.
as a graduation, but have explored. They're good artists. Some have like started their journey after COVID, where now they get a chance. They have free time, and then they get a chance to fill in their own canvas. Do you suggest they have a guru or a person who's experienced in art so that they can coach them or train them or at least review and guide them whether they're in the right direction or not? Or do you believe that they should just be left free and just let them paint the way their thought process is? Because all the other industries, all the other professions and all that, we generally prefer that you should have a coach, you should have a guru. Okay. So somebody who is experienced in this particular art profession. I'm not an artist. I'm completely new to
Right.
this particular thing. So as a layman, I'm asking this particular question: do you suggest a guru for a budding artist?
Say, a budding artist who does not want to go to art college. Is that what you're trying to
Yes, yeah,
tell
a
me?
budding artist who, uh, I mean, let's say doesn't have a chance because he's starting late or something. He doesn't have a chance to go to a college.
See, there are two ways. You can be grown up enough to understand what's going on in the art world in today's time. So travel becomes very important. You go out, you check art, you see art. Uh, I think that's not difficult. If you already have a passion for art, if you have a family background of art, and with what's happening all over now, it's not difficult, you know. But yeah, the ground line remains that one has to see that one does not ape. Even if you have a guru, don't ape the guru. The guru should be good enough to tell the child how he has to move with his art. I will tell you something because, I used to have to promote art for that matter. I would be having um, art competitions for schools because I always wanted to give back what I didn't get as a child. So in schools, we didn't have art teachers. And even after I passed out from college and in 99, when I left the department, even then, most of the schools in Goa, they didn't have a trained art teacher. Probably the PT teacher would be teaching them art. And then we had a college of art already for more than so many years. And yet the kid was not getting trained before getting into art college to at least know what you should expect. So I used to have this competition for schools, kids. So unfortunately, it was up to the seventh. So the kids were like 8, 9, you know. So every year I would be bringing judges. There were more than 300, 400 entries, which was very nice. And what happened was that two of them who won, they got into art college. And one of them, I just knew it was the daughter of one of my colleagues in art college, which I didn't know, whatever. Then there was this young boy, right, who won. And he was extremely good. I said, wow, this boy is good. He was kind of 8, maybe. So then I get a phone call from the parents and they tell me, you know what, we want to talk about the boy, about his art and whatever. So they came to me and then they said, how do we make money from his art? So I told them straight away that, if you think money, then forget about art. Because the moment you look at money, then you can forget about art. And sadly, they did not allow the boy to join the art college. He completed his commerce, his commerce, and then one fine day he told his parents, you know what, I can't get out of art. It's deep into me. And he left the home and went to Baroda and started, being tutored by a very well-known artist out there. And today he's one of the most, looked up to young guy. And I've seen his work. It's amazing. I don't want to tell names because it's not nice, the whole story. But I felt very, very happy, very happy that this child had the guts to move out. So of course, if you have it in you, if you have the passion, if you really want to do what you want, you don't need to go to an art college, but you need to know the way to go about being, a person who's going to be creative, who's going to be original in what you're doing. That's the ground line. And then, yeah, it's nice to talk to artists, get their views, be under somebody, which is also nice. But when you select that somebody, it should be somebody who's really good in what he or she is doing and who understands how to, impart this knowledge to the child, So, yeah, I don't think this example should be one. There are many examples like that, who have not gone through art college, but are doing extremely well, much better than many others, So, no, I don't have qualms about, being in art college and not being. Maybe there was a time when one needed to be, Yeah, but like always, at the end of the day, they will always ask you, have you done your graduation? I mean, this happens not only in art, it happens, I guess, in every field. For example, I will tell you, I have designed my own house and the gallery. And that is thanks to my sculptor director, because I was working in the center, like I told you, the design center, and then we decided to move it to have a totally building of its own, because it dealt with handicrafts. We had about 50 art, handicraft centers where people were being trained. Anyway, he told us that you guys are going to make the plans for this. He said, we are not architects, we were very upset. We are just artists. What is this guy trying to tell us? But then he says, no way, you are the guys who should know it best because you know what we need. So we all designed stuff. And I was very happy when the government selected my work as to be the one to be, taken further and made into the design center. So reference was fine. Finally, what happened is different because no architect is going to take a design of an artist. You know how it works? Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that helped me, to be able to design my own place, my own space that I live in now and where my gallery also is, So experience, knowledge of somebody else, then getting into books, reading about things that matter. Yeah, all this goes into making you somebody who you want to be. And who cares, of course, I had to design my place, but then I had to get the signature of a known architect, otherwise it was not going to get passed. Yeah, so yeah, so I don't see any reason as to why a person cannot be something he wants to be. If he has missed the train, he can catch up later. No two ways about that.
Good one. I mean, good example that, if somebody's missed the train, there is another one.
Yeah.
But don't change your intention of, not going to the location.
Exactly.
So,
because parents, parents play a very important role in today's Goa, or I would think everywhere else. People are more, open-minded. They talk to the child. Before it wasn't like that. They would say, okay, this is how it is to be, and this is what you're going to be. But now people listen. People check how the child is growing and how the interest of the child, and then obviously they will help the child, discover and find her or his way of, getting the best from him. Yep.
So last question from my side. You're an experienced artist who's made your name. How do you complement budding artists? Like, have you seen any art which you really liked recently? And how do you complement? Because one is guiding them or, basically encouraging the new artists. How do you complement if you see a nice art out there on the internet, or if you come across anybody displaying it in another gallery?
Yeah. Normally I don't, unless they want some advice or they want my opinion. Because I'd rather, each one find himself his own ways. But most of the guys, if they're really good, I don't see a reason to give them more. That means they're young, they've done this, which is good. Obviously, as they grow, they're going to get better, you know. So I don't think, but my helping the youngster, I will tell you, because I have this awards for young artists, because mostly youngsters who come out of art college, you know, in the first 2 years, nobody's going to look at them. Nobody invites them for shows. You know, forget about having a solo, even having a group show. They will have to, you know, take a long time before somebody can, you know, and they also are inexperienced in that sense. Of course, things are changing now. But what I do is I have this competition for freshers, you know, just passed out youngsters every year. It's a group show wherein they participate with about 5 of their works each. And then I have a jury which comes and, you know, decides who the winner is. There are about 3 places. I have one is for the winner, one is for the most popular guy. Yeah. And one is for creativity or something like that, you know. So the guy who wins it gets a chance to showcase his work in a solo the following year in my gallery. So, and I have found many guys, and all of them who have won, they're very good. They're very good. The last one was a youngster whose work I really like, and I see he's moving. He's moving, you know, because like I told you, in today's world, it's not difficult. The only thing that I always suggest to anyone is to be yourself. You know, aping is not going to take you anywhere. You know, today, you know, the world is an open book through the internet. So there are no chances of you taking something from the net and nobody knowing about it, you know. So my take on this, or my advice to youngsters, is that they should remain themselves. They should remain original and find ways to see themselves in their works, so that tomorrow somebody sees the work, they know, okay, this is so and so, you know. So their soul should be in the work that they make. And unless it is their own creation, this will not happen. So that basically would be my advice to youngsters and upcoming guys. But like I told you, for me, unless somebody comes to me and wants advice, I would not go out of my way and give it, because I think always, like I said, you know, finding oneself is the best way of improving yourself. And you got to be the judge of your own work. That's the main thing, is to be able to judge your work, you know. No matter who says what, if you have the eye to judge your work, then you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's my thoughts.
Thank you, Yolanda. I mean, very, very nice interacting with you. I almost feel like I'm sitting in the studio, in the gallery, along with you and having this conversation. I
My
was in
pleasure,
Goa for
absolutely.
close to 2 years. So, 2 years of my life I've spent in Goa. So, I feel very connected to people out there, because you look like one of the landlords. I rented and lived there for a while. So very, very, very attached location. And thanks a
Hope to
lot for
see you
sharing your
again in
journey.
Goa once the COVID business vanishes from the world, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah. So we will
Thank you.
drive down, and thanks for taking time out, sharing your journey, sharing practically what went in your life, how you had to make choices, and then move on. And thanks for encouraging the new artists. Thanks for gallery, because gallery is very important for all the artists. That's the platform where you come and showcase, like the football ground. You come and play. You need a football ground to play. You cannot play in
Absolutely.
gullies like a cricket. So you need a platform.
Yes, that's exactly.
Yeah.
That's
So
how it exactly is. Thank you very much for having me on your show, and it was a nice chat. I enjoyed it myself.
thank you. Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot, ma'am. And thanks to Sneha Arts for uh,
Absolutely.
actually letting this happen. I'm like very energized seeing so many or meeting so many artists, eminent artists through this particular platform.
She's
So,
full of energy.
and
She's full of energy, and she does it, as though she's just taking a stroll in the garden. That's what's nice. That's what's nice. You never feel that she's somebody else. I would have been under tremendous pressure if I had, so many people, so many complaints at times I've been witness to sometimes. But she's so cool. She's so cool and takes it so well, and tremendous.
yeah,
Tremendous. Really something
agree.
to look up to. Sneha is.
Super. Thank you, ma'am. Have a great day. So, friends, do follow Yolanda. So, you know, you definitely need a guru, at least somebody whom you can watch and check what something creative is coming up on a regular basis. So, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Thank you.